L'annonce qu'on fait aujourd'hui va faire beaucoup d'heureux. La trajectoire de notre économie est dans la bonne direction. On est en train de voir l'inflation diminuer, on est en train de voir les taux d'intérêt diminuer, on a une bonne croissance économique prévue pour 2025, on est en train de voir l'économie reprendre, mais en même temps, les gens ont besoin d'aide. C'est pour ça qu'on est allé de l'avant avec plusieurs mesures qui sont en train d'enlever de la pression sur leur compte de banque, que ce soit les soins dentaires qui aident les aînés et d'autres, que ce soit des places en garderie à 10 $ par jour à travers le pays, qui enlève des milliers de dollars de pression sur les familles, que ce soit le programme de nourriture dans les écoles qui va enlever de la pression pour les parents, que ce soit d'autres initiatives comme l'insuline ou les contraceptions sur ordonnance gratuite. On est en train de faire beaucoup de choses pour enlever de la pression pour les familles, mais on sait qu'on peut en faire encore plus. The programs that we're delivering, whether it's dental care, whether it's pharmacare with free insulin or free prescription contraceptives, whether it's more spaces and $10 a day child care that is saving families thousands of dollars, whether it's dental care that's taken huge pressures off of primarily seniors' budgets, but also others. These are things that are making a difference. But at the same time, Canadians are still struggling to get by. These elements have taken off pressures, but there is more to do. As the holidays approach, families, especially parents, are particularly worried. Canadians have been through a lot. They work hard. We see that. We've been able to get through the past couple of years. Everyone had to tighten their...
Des annonces qui vont vraiment aider les Canadiens et Canadiennes de la classe moyenne, avec l'enjeu qui leur inquiète le plus, l'enjeu de l'abortabilité. Nous allons envoyer les chèques de 250 $ à chaque Canadien et Canadienne qui a travaillé pendant 2023 et a gagné 150 000 $ au moins. These checks for $250 are about recognizing that working Canadians.
Depuis des mois, depuis des années, investi pour aider les Canadiens à passer à travers ces moments difficiles avec des investissements comme dans les soins dentaires, comme dans de l'aide pour des places en garderie, qui n'a pas ajouté à l'inflation. Au contraire, on a vu l'inflation mondiale baisser au Canada et ça fait presque un an qu'on est dans la cible visée par la Banque du Canada pour l'inflation, ce qui a amené la Banque du Canada à réduire les taux d'intérêt et nous mettre maintenant dans une position où on peut donc en faire plus pour les Canadiens. Alors, par-dessus tous les programmes comme la nourriture pour les écoles, qu'on est en train de faire, on peut maintenant donner un congé de taxes à tous les Canadiens pour 2 mois à partir de la mi-décembre sur l'épicerie, sur des jouets, sur des arbres de Noël, sur des livres, sur toutes sortes de choses qui sont importantes pour les Canadiens, sur les restaurants. Et on peut livrer de l'argent dans les poches des Canadiens qui va faire une grosse différence dans leur vie. Alors, on est là pour aider et je suis content que les autres partis sont en train de se ranger derrière nous pour livrer concrètement.
Le congé de taxes pour les Canadiens, les chèques, c'est des mesures qui vont coûter très cher. Est-ce que le gouvernement peut se permettre de telles mesures?
On a une des meilleures, ou sinon la meilleure situation fiscale de tous les pays du G7. On a le plus faible déficit, on a le plus bas taux de PIB par rapport à notre endettement parmi tous nos pairs, et on veut mettre, et on prévoit une grande croissance économique pour l'année prochaine. Même si on a tout ça, les Canadiens en arrachent. Et c'est pour ça qu'on se dit qu'on va mettre la situation fiscale positive du gouvernement au service des individus. C'est pour ça qu'on peut faire un congé de taxes pour les familles. C'est pour ça qu'on peut livrer la remise canadienne pour les travailleurs au mois d'avril. 250 $ pour tout le monde qui fait moins que 150 000 $ par année. C'est de l'aide directe pour les Canadiens qui n'ont pas eu ça facile au fil des dernières années. Et on met les effectifs du gouvernement au service directement des Canadiens.
Qu'est-ce que vous répondriez aux gens qui pourraient dire que ces mesures sont simplement électoralistes ou purement politiques?
On a démontré au cours des dernières années qu'on est là pour aider les Canadiens avec de la nourriture scolaire, avec des soins dentaires, avec une augmentation sur la pension de vieillesse pour les aînés de 75 ans et plus. On était là avec plus de places en garderie à 10 $ par jour à travers le pays. On est là avec de l'insuline, pour de l'insuline gratuite, pour des médicaments, des prescriptions à ordonnance, des contraceptions à ordonnance gratuites. Depuis les débuts, on voit où les Canadiens en arrachent et on est en train d'investir et de livrer pour les aider. Et maintenant que l'inflation est basse, maintenant que les taux d'intérêt commencent à redescendre, on peut mettre de l'argent directement dans les poches des travailleurs avec la remise canadienne et on peut donner un congé de taxes pour les Canadiens pour finir cette année et commencer l'année prochaine. C'est ce qu'on fait pour mettre le gouvernement et la situation fiscale solide de notre gouvernement au service directement des Canadiens qui en ont besoin. Depuis les débuts, nous soulignons à quel point c'est important pour tout le monde de respecter le droit international. Le Canada est un des fondateurs de nos systèmes de droit international et on va toujours suivre les décisions et les règlements de ces instances. En même temps, il faut se souvenir que tout ce qu'on est en train de faire est en train de travailler pour la paix et la stabilité dans la région. On a besoin d'un cessez-le-feu, on a besoin que Hamas dépose ses armes, on a besoin de voir les otages libérés, on a besoin d'avoir beaucoup plus d'aide humanitaire livrée à ceux qui en ont besoin. On a besoin d'un cessez-le-feu et à Gaza et au Liban. On a besoin de se remettre sur la voie d'une solution à 2 États, avec un État palestinien paisible et sécure, à côté d'un État israélien paisible et sécure. Ici au Canada, les gens qui ont mal, les gens qui ont de la peine, qui sont fâchés par ce qui s'est passé, on a besoin d'être là pour eux aussi. On a besoin de démontrer qui nous sommes en tant que Canadiens pour être là les uns pour les autres, même s'il y a des différends politiques, parce qu'on veut tous la paix, la stabilité et la protection des innocents.
Inflation has given the government revenues a big boost. How much or what share of this windfall in sales tax revenues are you giving back to Canadians with these moves today?
The increase in global inflation has forced the Bank of Canada had raised its interest rates, but now that inflation has come down back to the target range in Canada and have been for 10 months, interest rates are coming down once again, which is providing real relief for Canadians. But even with that, Canadians need a tax break. And that's what we're delivering. As we take the GST, HST off of all groceries, off of restaurants and takeout and fast food, off of toys, off of children's clothes, off beer and wine. These are things that are going to help Canadians as they approach not just Christmas and the holidays, but the beginning of the new year as well. We know people are under pressure. This is there to help them, and the Working Canadians rebate, $250 for Canadians who worked in 2015 and made less than $150,000. These are things that are going to help at a time where Canadians need that help.
Next question.
Nathaniel Dove, Global News. You mentioned you're taking taxes off of things like video games and video game consoles. How does that help people who are struggling, who likely can't afford those or are unlikely to buy them anyways?
One of the things that we've focused on very much over the past years has been targeted relief for those who most need it. Seniors over 75 who had been facing a rise in costs or in medical bills, we increased OAS for them. We know families who don't have dental insurance, couldn't afford dental care, needed extra help. We've been investing to support people in targeted ways who were among the most vulnerable across the country. This is a measure that recognizes that everyone has been facing the pinch. And that's why all Canadians get a tax break for the 2 months from mid-December to mid-February. This is a time where, yes, people are buying toys for their kids, so we're moving forward on a tax break on toys. But regardless of whether or not you celebrate Christmas, people gather for the holidays with family. So restaurants, takeout, prepared food and groceries, all grocery stores. No GST, HST. Moving forward on kids' clothes, including kids' winter clothes, boots, shoes. These are things that people care about, that matter for them. And seeing that Canadians have been squeezed and being able to do something direct for them on top of the many measures we've put forward is about recognizing that we are now in a better place in our economy, and it's time for people to get a bit of a break to be able to enjoy that.
You previously railed against the Harper government for sending, as you said, checks to the wealthy. $150,000 is a pretty healthy income, and the checks, the rebates will go to those people. How do you justify this now?
We started in 2015 by creating the Canada Child Benefit, where we took a number of previous benefits that Conservatives had created that were boutique targeted, that were going to wealthy Canadians. They were sending child benefit checks to millionaire families. We made it means tested and delivered hundreds of dollars a month tax-free to families in the middle class and those working hard to join it who really needed it. That was money in their pockets that made a huge difference for Canadians. That's something that we believed in. We didn't believe in sending child benefit checks to millionaires. So now as we're moving forward with a working Canadians rebate, we are saying, no, we're not going to send that $250 rebate check to millionaires. We're sending it to people who are working, who make less than $150,000. I will highlight that costs have gone up for everyone, and even someone making $130,000, $140,000 a year is cutting back on restaurants, is thinking twice about what groceries they can buy, is being thoughtful about the price pressures on us all. So we see middle-class Canadians, and we're going to be there to help them out as well. This is a choice we're making that is delivering for Canadians at a time where, yes, our economy is turning the corner, but people are still facing that squeeze. This will help us get through it. The way we all pulled together to get through COVID, the way we all pull together as Canadians when times get tough. This is about being there for Canadians when they need it, with a tax break for all Canadians.
Next question.
Hi, Monique Malima, Bloomberg News. How do these tax breaks square with your pledge to be fiscally responsible, and how does the government plan to pay for this? Will it be tax raises elsewhere, cuts to spending, or a deeper deficit? Again,
Canada has the strongest balance sheet in the G7. We have the lowest debt to GDP ratio of all of our peer countries. We have a fiscal track that the Parliamentary Budget Officer has just said is totally and absolutely sustainable. Canadians can have confidence in the Canadian economy and in its future, because the world has confidence in Canada's economy in the future. Foreign direct investment, companies investing in Canada, is actually up 60% since 2015. And just last year, we were in absolute terms third in the world for companies coming to invest in Canada, in Canadian workers, in Canadian future. That makes us number 1 per capita in the G20 for foreign investment. Canada is on a solid footing. Our macroeconomy is doing well, but that's why we're choosing to put that in service directly of Canadians. Canadians who need it with dental benefits, Canadians who need it with pharmacare, with insulin and prescription contraceptives, Canadians who need support for groceries through the school food program, Canadians who are saving thousands of dollars because we've dropped childcare down to $10 a day in most of the country and are expanding spaces. These are things we are doing for Canadians because our fiscal balance sheet is strong, because we have been fiscally responsible to bring down inflation and to see interest rates coming down as well, even as we are investing in housing, investing in bringing in investments and creating jobs and careers for the future.
The NDP called for removing GST on home heating and other monthly bills. Why was that not included?
I'm pleased that the NDP is getting behind us on this tax break for all Canadians. We have seen, unfortunately, for the past months in the House of Commons, the Conservatives have been blocking legislation that could be passed on accelerating dental benefits for Canadians, on moving forward on supports for families. And for the NDP to say, okay, enough is enough, let's actually get Parliament working to deliver for Canadians. It's about time. We know the Conservatives didn't care about dental benefits or the school food policy. They voted against them, so they're fine blocking it in the House. But I know the NDP actually supports our national school food program. The NDP actually supports dental care. So it's been bewildering to me to see them sit back, cross their arms, and allow Parliament to be bogged down in procedural filibusters that the Conservatives are choosing to do and not being able to deliver concretely for Canadians. So to see the NDP getting behind us on a tax break for all Canadians, on support for Canadian families, on delivering money in the bank accounts and pockets of working Canadians, these are things that we should be pulling together as a Parliament, and I'm hoping all parliamentarians will get behind us on this.
Thank you. Last question.
Hi, Prime Minister. Laura Stone, Globe and Mail. I think when people saw that this announcement was being made, they saw Jagmeet Singh sort of take credit for it preemptively last night. They thought maybe you'd struck a deal with the NDP to end the privilege debate with this announcement. It sounds like the NDP isn't prepared to do that, and they want to use other motions to support this measure. What kind of discussions are you having with that party to get Parliament moving again? I
am certainly hopeful that the NDP will see that a frozen Parliament doesn't deliver for Canadians. Like I said, the Conservatives have been blocking all the affordability measures that we've been putting forward, and to see the NDP tacitly agreeing with them has been a little confusing for a lot of progressives across the country. So with this measure that has to get through Parliament and get through Parliament quickly so people can start feeling that relief at that tax break as soon as mid-December comes around, the NDP is going to have to step up and get beyond the freeze that we're seeing in Parliament. But I hope all parliamentarians get behind these measures. These are measures that we can deliver because our fiscal situation is strong, but we need to deliver because Canadians certainly need this support.
Okay, and just on the USMCA, the Mexican president says that you told her personally you were not in favor of kicking Mexico out of the agreement. Can you expand on your conversations with her, and why is your finance minister, and maybe Minister Freeland can remark also, leaving the door open to that as Canada's position?
We have exactly the same position. We have an absolutely outstanding trade deal right now between our three countries. The USMCA, CUSMA, new NAFTA, whatever you want to call it, has been incredibly successful for the Canadian economy, for the US economy, and for the Mexican economy. This is something that we would like to see continue. That is my first choice. There have been real and genuine concerns raised about Chinese investment into Mexico that I brought up directly with the Mexican president, that a number of people have noted, that I know the three countries are going to have to lean in and work on. We're leaving all doors open because my job is and always will be, to stand up for Canadian workers, to stand up for the Canadian economy, to stand up for Canadian interests. That's what guided us through President Trump's first term. That's what will guide us through this second term. We will fight for Canadians. We will secure Canadian jobs and Canadian growth long into the future. Ideally, we do that as a united North American market. But pending decisions and choices that Mexico has made, we may have to look at other options. But let me just say it again. My ideal situation is we continue to work well together to protect jobs in North America from overcapacity or economic coercion that other countries have been responsible for.
Thank you, Prime Minister. That concludes today's press
Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Take care.